Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Kemal AA and this is another Chelsea transfer news ready video for you guys, where I'll keep you guys up to date with all the latest Chelsea news in the past 24 hours. Some big news stories: Ousmane Dembele potentially linked to Chelsea, Chelsea interested in his services, Thomas Tuchel as well. Some concrete talks have been held with him, his representatives and his agents. Could we see Thomas Tuchel and Ousmane Dembele reunited at Chelsea? I'll be delving into all the reports, giving my thoughts, opinions at the end as well, and I'll also be discussing Declan Rice, and apparently his interest and his asking price in West Ham has reduced to £50 million. I'll be speaking about that as well, and West Ham's inquiry about Emerson Palmieri has officially been rejected, what that also means for the likes of Marcus Alonso. But before I do go into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's Chelsea transfer news video for you guys. Now, starting off with the big news, and that is of course the managerial situation once again, with Thomas Tuchel at the helm being the first choice alongside Julian Nagelsmann. And according to La Sport, which is of course a French publication, via Sport Witness, they have stated that Chelsea have held very concrete talks with Thomas Tuchel about replacing Frank Lampard at Stamford Bridge. Now, as you delve into the article and you read more of the article, there isn't too much detailed information. A lot of it's regurgitated, recycled from what we already know. We know that Lampard is under scrutiny. We know Lampard is under huge pressure. We know that Thomas Tuchel is already on the managerial list. The concrete talks is believable. It is. Now, as I keep stressing, there's always contradicting reports. Some reports state this, some reports state this, and it's always contradicting. There's nothing, linear. There's nothing that's similar to each other in that sense. Now, with Thomas Tuchel, as I keep stressing, he is, up there as the club's #1 choice alongside Julian Nagelsmann. There are some reservations, of course, over Thomas Tuchel because of his politics and the fact that he clashes with boards. That's happened in the past with PSG and Dortmund. But the fact that we have actually held very concrete talks is quite interesting. Now, as I keep telling you guys, Thomas Tuchel wants the job. He is desperate for the job. He's already told his representatives and his agents to push for him to get this job. His agents have already, essentially contacted Chelsea, the hierarchy, the state, about his availability and the fact that Thomas Tuchel would like to manage his club. Of course, he's already had meetings in the past, back in 2017, with Mourinho and Solskjaer. So this wouldn't be a problem to get done. As I said yesterday, though, would Thomas Tuchel want the job right now? That is a question that will remain to be seen, because, as I said before, it doesn't make too much logical sense as to why we would be, Thomas Tuchel would be interested in, taking his vacancy right now. We are currently exactly halfway through the Premier League campaign, 9 points adrift of top 4. There's already that pressure building that Thomas Tuchel already has at his head that he has to secure top 4, and with limited training sessions, ability to work with the squads, I don't think he can implement his philosophy, implement his style of play. We have an insanely tough fixture list in February, as I stressed before. Atletico home and away, Liverpool, Spurs, United, Leeds. We've got massive fixtures coming up, and these are all in the space of 3-4 days. He hasn't got time to train. There's not going to be many training sessions in between these fixtures. This is where the problem lies, and he's already got massive pressure on him to secure that top 4, where he's been put in a position that's not his fault. So I don't think it's necessary for him. It's not fair for him. Hence why I would like to sign an interim for now, and then get Thomas Tuchel in the summer where he has a full pre-season to work with the squad, implement his style, etc. But the fact that we've actually held concrete talks is very, very interesting indeed, meaning that there's some things going on behind the scenes. This is my theory. I'll give you guys my theory. Now, yesterday there was a report stating from The Independent that Chelsea are undecided, hence why Lampard is given a final chance. They're undecided who would be his successor. I personally believe that's a smokescreen. I think that's a smokescreen. I think the club already know who they want as a successor for Lampard, and they're already behind the scenes, in my personal opinion, already sounding out to Thomas Tuchel. I think they're already negotiating contracts, negotiating deals, how they're going to sort the situation. Now, I already believe that they are doing stuff behind the scenes. Chelsea are a very secret club. We get deals done secretly. Look at the Ziyech and Werner deal. How those deals were done in secrecy. This club doesn't release much information. They only release stuff when they want people to know. They keep things very private. And I think that, listen, this is not legit. This is just my theory. I think this is all a smokescreen. I think that Thomas Tuchel is in fact the #1 choice. But the fact that we've had very concrete talks with with Thomas Tuchel's agent and reps, very interesting indeed. Now, moving on to a player that's actually been under Thomas Tuchel at Borussia Dortmund is, of course, Ousmane Dembele. This is an interesting name. We know who Ousmane Dembele is, but the first time we've heard this name in a while now. And again, written by Sport. Spanish publication, Chelsea, Juventus, Bayern Munich and Manchester United are interested in the Barcelona winger Ousmane Dembele. Now, I wouldn't take these reports too seriously. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. Sport, they're not the most credible. They're not the most reliable of sources. And this doesn't make much financial nor logical sense to me at all. Now, my thoughts, opinions on Ousmane as a player, I think he's a world-class player. I think that injuries have halted him, of course, but his technical ability is superb. You know, he's both-footed. His left foot is as good as his right foot. His technical ability, his dribbling, his shooting, such a gifted player. He's so talented. You know, the fact that he's gifted with the ball, the movement off the ball, his dribbling, his movement in tight spaces, he's simply sensational. He's a simply, world-class player. However, as I stressed, injuries have halted him. They've put him back. He's not been able to be that player that everyone hoped he would be, that generational superstar, because of injuries. Injuries have halted him, and they've meant that he has regressed as a player, unfortunately. Now, financially, this wouldn't make sense because Barcelona spent over £100 million securing Ousmane Dembele. Now, bear in mind, the caveat is, of course, they will understand that they won't get anywhere near that, and so they'll probably demand £70 to £80 million. Now, would you risk paying £80 million for an Ousmane Dembele with plastic bags as hamstrings, who gets injured every 2 weeks, in one of the most intensive and physical leagues in Europe? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're cashing out, you're splashing a good £70-80 million. Don't get me wrong, a world-class player who's always injured, who's got plastic bags as hamstrings, and gets injured every 2-3 weeks in the most physical league. It doesn't make any sense to me. His wages are going to be astronomically high as well, and even if this was a loan, it wouldn't make sense. We already have injury-prone wingers. Pulisic is injury-prone. Ziyech seems to be injury-prone. We need wingers that are reliable. We need wingers that rarely get injured, that can go there and do a job. We don't need a starter. We have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's a superstar, world class. He's our star boy. We got Pulisic. We got Ziyech. We just need a winger that can do a job and can fill in that gap when we have an injury. I don't think we need Ousmane Dembele. Financially, it doesn't make sense. We can utilise that money elsewhere to strengthen, whether that's a striker, a CDM, goalkeeper, etc., etc. It costs too much, and he's always injured. So, you're paying high wages for a player that's always in hospital. He's laying on the hospital bed. You'll be paying his hospital costs week in, week out. He's not going to be paying on the pitch for sure. He's going to get more friendly with a doctor than he will with, whoever our manager is. So it doesn't make sense. Although, could we potentially see Thomas Tuchel and Ousmane Dembele reunited? We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think there's much in these rumours, so don't take him too seriously. But again, who would be interested in Ousmane Dembele? A top talent. Now, moving on to the final piece of news, and that is, of course, Declan Rice and Emerson Palmieri. Now, the reason why I'm going to speak about them both is because it was written by Mirror Football, English publication. Not too credible, but they're stating that Chelsea have rejected a loan inquiry from West Ham for Emerson Palmieri. Now, we know Emerson, he's surplus to requirements to Chelsea, lack of minutes. However, in my personal opinion, the fact that we have rejected this loan inquiry means two things. Firstly, it means that Chelsea do see him as, a good backup to Chilwell. He's got good pace, his attitude is in the right place, his head is in a good space. He's a quality player, quality fullback, good, quality depth. And the fact that this means Alonso will be going. Because, if we are rejecting this and he's out of favour, it means that we want Emerson as backup. And so we are trying to ship and offload Marcos Alonso. It looks like Marcos Alonso will be leaving it this window, if not in the summer window, which I think is needed. I think that it's time for him to move on. He's 30s of age. Emerson is 5 years younger than Alonso. He's quicker than Alonso. He's more suited. He's a natural left back. He's quick. He's got good dribbling and movement. I think that, again, if he was ever going to push Chilwell out of his position, it would be Emerson Palmieri. I don't think Marcos Alonso is a good enough fullback or a natural left back to compete with Chilwell for that spot. Hence why, as I said, the fact that we've rejected this loan inquiry means that he will be staying, and Chelsea do have him in his plans as backup, and they would like to offload Alonso instead. And the reason why I'm bringing up Rice in the same conversation is because Chelsea are interested in Rice, or more so Lampard is. We know that his price tag was in the range of £70 to £80 million. Apparently, according to some various reports, that has been reduced to £50 million by West Ham. However, this has been ridiculed and ruled out by a West Ham account on Twitter, very reliable West Ham account, but essentially he stated that is not true. West Ham are in a good financial position. They won't let Declan Rice go in January for lower than £80 million. Again, we won't be signing Declan Rice in January, so completely ruled that one out. I don't think that's going to happen. And again, as I keep stressing, for us to sign Declan Rice, it really depends on if Lampard stays at Chelsea, which looks unlikely. So again, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that is me wrapping up the Chelsea transfer news video for you guys. If you did enjoy this, feel free to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.